Welcome! This is your first video this year with Mrs. Lehnert in Earth Science. For this video and all of your videos, you are going to need a pen or a pencil and your notes worksheet that you got in class. If you didn't get a notes worksheet in class, then you can just take detailed notes on a sheet of notebook paper. The learning objectives for this video are that the student will be able to define and describe different systems that work together on Earth, and the student will be able to describe different branches of science that Earth scientists study. So you should be able to do these objectives on your own after watching this video. So when we talk about Earth systems, what we're really talking about is everything that's involved in Earth science. So what is Earth science? Earth science is the knowledge about Earth and its place in the universe. You should be writing this on your notes worksheet. If you need to pause because I'm going too fast, please do that at any time throughout this video. This is why we are making videos, so that if you fall behind, you can just pause me, because you can't really do that in our classroom. This picture that's on the screen is one of my favorites. This is from when the Apollo 11 astronauts were on the moon. So what you're actually seeing there in gray is the moon, the surface of the moon, and they're looking back at the Earth. So you can see that only part of the Earth is lit up by the sun, the top part, that's daylight on Earth, and the part that is underneath, that's in darkness, that's nighttime on Earth, and you can't see that because the sun is not shining on it, which I always thought that was such a cool picture. It really kind of gives us an idea about we're not alone in the universe. The Earth is just one of many, many, many different planets in many, many, many different solar systems that are orbiting around many, many different stars. So I really like this picture because that kind of gives us that sense of what Earth is like and its place in the universe. So Earth science includes several different systems. What is a system? A system is a group of parts that work together as a whole. All right, in a moment, you're gonna have a chance to check your understanding. There's gonna be a question that pops up on the screen, and then next to the video screen, or maybe below it, depending on how you're watching this, if you're watching it on this computer or your phone, the question will pop up off to the side or below as well, and you want to type the answer in the box. Use your notes pages to help you, and then you can click right here on the submit button when you're all done. Now, if you are not sure, you can't answer the question using your notes, then click this rewatch button and rewatch the video, take better notes, and then you can try it again. Once you are done answering, then you can click on the continue button to continue on watching the rest of the video. So here is your question. What is the definition of systems in Earth science? Okay, hopefully you got that question correct. If not, then just be sure to take your time next time so you can get the rest of the questions correct. So there are three systems we're going to talk about. The first one is the hydrosphere, which includes all of the water on Earth. And this includes our oceans, our lakes, rivers, and our groundwater. There's water in the ground. The water is in between the different sand particles and other particles in the ground. And this is actually really important to us because it also affects the weather and climate on our planet. This image here is also called the water cycle. So you've probably learned about the water cycle in middle school, and hydro means water. That word hydro, actually, that root word hydro means water, and that refers to the water cycle. So sometimes people will use the word water cycle and hydrosphere in the same, meaning the same thing. And this word sphere really just means round. Like if you're talking about something that is spherical, you're really talking about something that is round. It's actually a 3D shape that is round, like a ball is a sphere. And so when we talk about the hydrosphere, we're talking about all the water that is on the Earth. The Earth is a sphere. The second system is the atmosphere. And our atmosphere is a thin layer of gases that surrounds our planet. And you can actually see the atmosphere right here. This thin layer is our atmosphere. And the atmosphere is actually the boundary between the Earth, which is here, right? So this whole thing here is all of the Earth. And everything up here in black, this is actually outer space. So our atmosphere is in between space and the Earth. And there are actually several layers of Earth. The troposphere is the closest one to the ground. That is the bottom layer, I guess you would say. That's actually where all of our weather occurs. It's where everything we know and love exists. The next layer up is the stratosphere, and that's actually where most airplanes fly. They fly above the troposphere, which is why if you've ever flown in a plane, you've probably seen clouds below you. All those clouds are part of the weather, part of the troposphere. And when you fly in an airplane in the stratosphere, you're actually flying just above that layer of the clouds. All right, our third and final system that we'll talk about is the lithosphere. Litho means rock. Obviously, sphere means circle, part of the Earth. So this is the rock or the solid part of Earth that's made up of rocks. It's also made up of minerals and some other elements and chemicals, but it does not include the oceans. So it's pretty much everything that is solid, not liquid. Okay, time to check your understanding once again. This time you're going to choose the answer that matches the correct system with its name. So you've got three different choices here. You're just going to select the one that makes the most sense. Use your notes again to help you with this. Is the hydrosphere part of the Earth made up of only rocks and minerals? Is the atmosphere part of the Earth that's made up of gases that surround the planet? Or is the lithosphere part of the Earth made up of water? You choose the one that is correct based on your notes. Okay, hopefully you got that one correct. Again, if you are missing these, make sure that you're going back, fixing your notes if you need to, or just kind of committing some of that to memory. The whole point of these videos is to watch them to learn. You're doing this to learn, not just to get it done, okay? All right, let's go on. So there are two different types of forces that have actually changed what the Earth's surface looks like throughout its history. And the first one of those is called constructive forces. And these shape the Earth's surface by building mountains and other land masses. This is like a building force, right? You're building things, you're constructing something. And so that word construct is actually in that word constructive forces. Hopefully that helps you to remember this. Plate tectonics is considered a constructive force because mountains are created when two plates are moving together slowly. Like in this picture here, you can tell that there was probably two plates that kind of moved together here and then caused these rocks to get folded together. And not only are they getting folded together, they're also uplifting. And so that's what creates those mountains in that picture. Volcanoes here on the left hand, or I'm sorry, the right hand side of the picture. Volcanoes are considered constructive forces because they create lava. And so you can see the lava flowing down off of this volcano. And eventually that lava is going to turn into and solidify into new rock. That new rock is creating new land. It's constructing more land on our planet. So the other type of force is a destructive force. And these slowly wear away mountains and every other feature on Earth's surface. This is like the opposite of constructive forces, right? What goes up must come down. What gets constructed must get destroyed. So that word destruct, think of destroy. And if you destroy something, you're wearing it away, you're breaking it down. And these forces are forces like erosion or weathering. Like you can see here on the picture on the left, this water is falling down and you can already see that it's destroyed some of the rock on the side of this mountain. The water is breaking apart those rocks. And then on the right-hand side, waves from the ocean. Here's the ocean out here, and the waves have come up and they've destroyed part of the road you can see right here along that beach. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today is about the different branches or categories of earth science. So when we say a branch, all we're talking about is if earth science is a big category, then you've got all these different branches or different categories, right, X, Y, Z, of earth science. So the first branch or category of earth science is geology. And geology is just the study of forces that have shaped the earth. So we just talked about two of those forces, constructive and destructive forces. So these include the study of rocks and minerals. You're talking about erosion, weathering, plate tectonics, mountain building, volcanoes, earthquakes. All of those are constructive and destructive forces that are shaping the earth. Like, for example, in this picture, how did these rocks get this way? I mean, they're so pretty. Look how pretty all those are. But how were they made? That is the study of geology. Another branch or category of earth science is oceanography, and that's the study about everything about the ocean. Has it in the word, that's pretty obvious. So this could be the study of the chemistry of the ocean water, like what kind of chemicals are in it, what kind of minerals are in it, what's it made up of. The ocean floor, yeah, the floor, the ocean has a floor. When you dive deep, deep down, eventually you're going to hit rock bottom. That's the floor of the ocean. You could also study marine organisms like fish, whales, dolphins, algae, corals, sharks, all of the living organisms that are in the ocean would be the study of oceanography as well. Another branch or category of earth science is meteorology. This is the study of the atmosphere. Another way to think about this is that this is weather. So whenever you hear the word meteorology, you should think about weather. Like these images, which are actually pictures of hurricanes, which are really just strong storms. This picture here is a satellite picture. So here's Florida right here, Georgia, South Carolina, here's North Carolina coast. This is the Atlantic Ocean, and then this is a hurricane. And then this is a picture on land of a bunch of palm trees that are being almost blown over by that hurricane. And meteorologists are people who study the weather. They study meteorology. Now, some people get kind of confused with this term, meteor, because the term meteor is actually a rock from outer space that enters Earth's atmosphere. Usually a meteor comes from a piece of an asteroid or a comet, and that's from outer space, and so I think that's why it's named that. But this is when a meteor enters the Earth's atmosphere and starts to burn up from the friction with the air in the atmosphere. And so that's actually where we get that term meteorology. It's from the atmosphere that the rock flows through. When we talk about outer space, we're actually talking about astronomy. So astronomy is the study of the solar system, stars, galaxies, anything that is outside of the Earth, right? Do you know what these pictures are showing you? This one on the left is a constellation. This is the constellation Ursa Major, or we call it sometimes the Big Dipper. A constellation is just a group of stars that early humans would make up stories about. There was no Netflix or Instagram back then to keep humans entertained, so they looked up to the stars and they made up stories about them. And so that's what our constellations are. The middle picture right here, this is actually a picture of the Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy that we live in is called the Milky Way galaxy. And you can see part of it right here. I used to look at this all the time where I grew up in Ohio. It was really dark outside at night compared to New York City because we didn't have as many lights. So you could actually see tons of stars. And our Milky Way galaxy has 200 billion stars. So it looks really, really bright in our sky. You can see these different parts that are really, really bright in our night sky because of that. And then finally, the picture on the far right here, this is Saturn, our planet Saturn. This is one of the 8 planets in our solar system. And then our final branch or category of earth science is called environmental science. And this is the study of the environment and the resources that we have on Earth. So this is where you would learn about renewable resources like wind energy. This right here is a windmill that produces energy from the wind. You would learn about other things that humans can do to make sure that we're leaving our Earth in good enough shape for our children and our grandchildren. Okay, this is your final check for understanding. Here's your question. Which branch of Earth science are you most interested in learning about this year and why? Now, when you answer this question, please make sure that you explain why for full credit. If you only tell me which branch that you're interested or category that you're interested without telling me why, you will not get full credit for this question. All right, just remember to bring this notes worksheet and your binder to class the next time we have class so you can get your stamp. And make sure that you watch this video all the way to the end until it stops so that way you get credit for watching the video. Great job!